The engine roars beneath hands that haven't gripped a wheel like this in decades. The smell of fuel and rubber floods back memories buried for 57 years. This isn't a young driver chasing his first win. This is an 80-year-old NASCAR Hall of Famer climbing back into a race car at the exact track where his driving career began in 1969. Mid-race, he crashes into a wall and keeps going. Why would a man who built one of NASCAR's biggest empires risk it all for one night at Stafford Speedway? What did CLEETUS McFARLAND say to talk him into it? Why does a single exhibition lap matter more than most fans realize? This story is bigger than one race. It's about legacy, unfinished business, and a promise made nearly 6 decades ago. And it plays out across nearly a full century of racing history, packed into one Friday night, at a track most casual fans had never heard of before this event. Most fans under 40 know Richard Childress only as a suit and headset team owner, never as a driver behind the wheel. His name is tied to Richard Childress Racing's championship history, not to laps run in anger on short tracks. Before RCR, before the trophies, before Dale Earnhardt, Childress was a broke racer chasing a dream with nothing but grit and an old truck. This comeback isn't about competition. It's about a man reconnecting with a version of himself the sport forgot existed. His last laps at this exact track came in 1969, a 57-year gap most drivers never get the chance to close. And for one night, that gap disappeared entirely, as the crowd watched a piece of NASCAR history return to the asphalt. Before we go further, if this is your first time here, welcome to NASCAR Trackline TV. We're closing in on 500 subscribers, and every subscribe, like, comment, and share helps us keep bringing you real, fact-driven NASCAR stories like this one. If this story hits home, let us know in the comments below and share it with a fellow NASCAR fan who needs to see it. Between 1969 and 1981, Childress made 285 NASCAR Cup Series starts, collecting 76 top 10 finishes, without ever reaching victory lane as a driver. 12 full seasons on track, hundreds of races, and not a single checkered flag as a driver. Yet the foundation of one of NASCAR's biggest empires was built during those years. He once described those early days plainly. "We didn't have much money at all. We had an old '54 Ford truck that we hauled the race car with. We got up here and had a lot of fun. We didn't really have any idea what we were doing." That scrappy beginning changed course in 1981, when Childress made the defining decision of his life, stepping out of the car and handing the number 3 to a young Dale Earnhardt, a move that helped ignite one of NASCAR's most legendary owner-driver partnerships and reshape the sport for decades to come. His last competitive laps anywhere before this came in a Winston Legends exhibition in the mid-1990s, meaning this Friday night broke a silence of decades that most assumed would never be broken again. The deal behind this moment traces back to earlier this year, when CLEETUS McFARLAND, whose real name is Garrett Mitchell, signed a developmental deal with Richard Childress Racing, a partnership fans didn't expect to produce a moment like this. While preparing for the New England 900 at Stafford Speedway, McFarland didn't just want a race. He wanted Childress standing in the field with him, not watching from the pits like a typical team owner. Childress described how easily the decision came together. "I talked to CLEETUS, and when he asked me to do it, I said, 'Yeah, I'll go.' I thought it'd just be fun." The scale of the event raised the stakes far beyond a casual favor between two friends. The New England 900 featured identical nitrous-powered Ford Crown Victorias, pulling together NASCAR drivers, drifting stars, and automotive creators, with Ryan Preece, Ty Dillon, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. all in the field, and every grandstand seat sold out well before race day arrived. This wasn't a small stunt. It was a major NASCAR moment, built on real credibility and a genuinely competitive field of drivers from multiple disciplines. A sold-out crowd packed Stafford Speedway specifically to witness this exhibition, filling the grandstands beyond capacity on race night. A mixed-discipline lineup combining NASCAR talent, drifting stars, and content creators elevated the event well beyond a normal short-track race, drawing attention from corners of motorsport that rarely overlap under one roof. The presence of established names like Ty Dillon and Ryan Preece validated the level of competition Childress chose to re-enter at age 80, against drivers decades younger and sharper behind the wheel. Despite a stacked field, packed with recognizable names, cameras and attention kept returning to one car throughout the night. The number 3, driven by a man most fans never expected to see racing again. Then came the moment nobody saw coming. On lap 62, in turn 2, Childress had been running clean, staying out of trouble for the majority of the race up to that point. Suddenly the car broke loose, spun, and made contact with the outside wall, bringing the caution flag out immediately. Was this the end of the comeback before it truly began? For a few tense laps under caution, with the car sitting damaged against the wall, the outcome remained uncertain to everyone watching. The damage wasn't enough to end his night. Childress brought the number 3 back out onto the track and continued racing through to the finish, refusing to let one mistake define the entire comeback. None of what comes next has been confirmed by Childress or RCR. It remains fan and media speculation based purely on the timing of the deal and this appearance. Does this signal Childress wants a bigger, more public return to short-track racing, or was this strictly a one-time favor for CLEETUS McFARLAND? Could the RCR-McFarLand developmental deal be the start of a larger crossover between traditional NASCAR ownership and creator-driven motorsport, blending two very different racing worlds into something new? Fans are already debating both possibilities across social media, and the questions surrounding this partnership aren't going away anytime soon. An 80-year-old Hall of Famer, a track he hadn't touched in 57 years, a wall he hit and refused to let stop him, and a finish that reminded the sport exactly where he came from decades ago. Childress completed all 90 laps and crossed the line in 10th place, a result few expected given the decades-long gap since his last competitive outing anywhere on a track. While Childress was writing his comeback story, CLEETUS McFarLand and Ryan Preece collided while battling for the lead, ending McFarland's night early despite his role in bringing the whole event together in the first place. Ryan Preece addressed the moment directly, saying, "CLEETUS and I had quite the on-track battle. I was ready to tell RC to hold my watch." Was this the perfect one-time comeback? Or is this the beginning of something NASCAR isn't ready for? Drop your answer in the comments below, and don't forget to comment and share this video with another NASCAR fan who needs to see it. With CLEETUS McFarLand now tied to Richard Childress Racing, fans are already asking what's coming next for this partnership, and every update surrounding it is worth watching closely in the weeks ahead. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.